we are in St Mary's Church porch, where I understand this sound is better and I've got to keep my head quite still. So do write in and complain if I don't. We're coming towards the end of October, and October, November is sometimes sort of as a thin time with Halloween, All Hallows Eve, Tuesday the 31st, and then we have All Saints Day on the 1st of November, which is what All Hallows Eve is about, the day before All Hallows, All Saints, and then All Souls Day. All Saints Day, we remember all those from the past, and then All Souls, when we remember those in particular, what we call the faithful departed, those who are in our hearts and in our minds, even though they're no longer with us. So, and then of course Remembrance Sunday follows soon after that. And we now do, both churches, a service called In Loving Memory, which we hold around the end of October, beginning of November, because it ties in with that time of remembering and remembering those who died. And they're really services for anyone who's lost somebody, who's been bereaved, no matter how long ago. We do actually invite all those from the past few years we've taken funerals for, whether here in church or at one of the crematoriums nearby. And just a reminder, clergy do take services at crematoriums, we're not just restricted to the church. And what we do in Loving Memory, sorry, I've got to move my head a bit here, is we light a cross of candles using these tea lights, which we have on a table in the chancel, and obviously a cross. But then we also have candles that people can hold, and they light and we have a moment of remembering those we love and have lost. And I don't really need to explain the symbolism of candles and why they're significant and why that's probably the key moment in the service, really. And I think when I light some candles, as I will do, and I remember some people I remember, including a young man who, when I was in mental health work, who died of a terrible asthma attack in his early 20s. I was his key worker. I still remember him. I think I'll also be lighting a candle for a sense of bereavement for the world. It doesn't seem as though the world is going through terrible, terrible suffering at the moment. In Gaza and in Israel and in Ukraine and so many other places that don't make the front pages now. And it's almost as if the world is being crucified. And one of my favourite quotations, and I've certainly used it before, is the French philosopher Pascal, 17th century philosopher, who said, "Jesus will be crucified until the end of the world." He didn't mean that Jesus is still alive and being crucified. He meant, of course, that in the suffering of the world we see the crucifixion of Christ, in the world's pain, and in the suffering and the crying and grieving that we see and don't want and look away from on our TV screens or on our phones. We see Christ crying from the cross. So for me, these services were just about as much the world and a sense of loss in the world as it will be about loss for individuals. But we do hope that these services bring comforts and a time for reflection for people at what can be a difficult time of the year, and you're warmly invited to come to both of them. It'll be here on Saturday the 28th of November and at Fearing on Saturday the 4th of November, both at 4 o'clock. And it will be a real privilege to see you there. Thank you.